Hey, welcome back everyone. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We are back with the final game in the semifinals between myself and Meow7 in the Crossroads at Caen tournament. If you guys are just tuning in for the first time, I do recommend you go back and watch the last two tournament matches, as that will give you some context as to how we got to this point, being 1-1 against the great Meow. But this is it. This is the decider. Winner advances to the finals and a chance to take home the prize money. And after our strong start in Game 1 and our unfortunate defeat in Game 2, it all comes down to this. So let's jump on in. So each match here has been decided by the ranked queue in the official Discord. We are switching sides again. We did coin flip, so we are now the Axis. We did get unlucky. Meow is the British. He was nice enough to not go them Game 1. He is going to go all out here in Game 2. We are playing as the Germans. We did go with a different doctrine than what I would typically take, especially on this map. We're playing on Witteringstieg. I'm actually going the all-around West doctrine, which is a very strong doctrine. And I'm rushing out two Grenadier squads. I want to get them set up. I got one guy going out all the way to my northwest point, and then everyone else is going to the middle. And I'm also bringing the second squad kind of in between the 2 points. I'm not going to really push the south point, or Meow's home point, early. I am going to wait. I'm going to try to control the middle and use my point as a springboard, and then I'll start pushing his home point when I feel I've kind of established myself. I tend to find playing against the Brits that a slower attack is usually helpful, just because of their numbers and how hard the Enfields hit. So I want to try to take advantage of just kind of digging in and playing for time. And then I'm hoping once we get to kind of the DP buys, we'll be able to kind of do something with those. But for now, we'll see what we can do. We've got a pretty nice line in the middle, and we're starting to push into that other compound to try to cut off Meow. And he, I believe, actually did the same thing. He went 2 squads towards middle, with one kind of off to the side here that is getting picked apart by RMGs. So we have a 2-to-1 cap in his favor, and I'm going to start moving this third squad slightly over to the other side of the point, but I am going to kind of split them, not fully over for a full push, but kind of just kind of taking out the right side. And something I always recommend doing is, as you guys have been seeing here, is taking out the rifles from the rifle grenadiers. That way they just focus fire with the grenades themselves. And I double click to switch them over to the HE grenades immediately as well. So we're digging in. I'm gonna try to get some foxholes up. We have nearly neutralized it at this point. As we saw, Meow was pushing a second squad, third squad, I don't even know at this point, over on the right. He has had time to dig in as well, on his right side, our left side of the point. And he is using a Piat from that, what must be his third squad, to actually take out our cover. So slightly unfortunate there, with the minimal cover that we get on the right side with those ruins. But I'm going to bring in a half track and hopefully do some damage, or at least supporting fire. Usually that is a safe opening, especially 3 minutes in. A good counter is probably if he takes a half track. So we may have to deal with that. The British also have a ton of light armored vehicles, light armored cars that can also kind of be very big deterrents to that early half tracks. And we do see one of those come out now. It's like a Daimler, I believe. So I'm going to try to get the half track out of there if I can. Looks like the Cromwell in the middle thankfully saved us, and we dipped just low enough to avoid it. Although we do have to be careful. We're going to try to get back here. And we do now have middle secured for the time being, but he's got a ton of guys all around. But hopefully with this next squad coming in, we'll be able to just kind of reinforce and keep up the pressure here. So not a terrible start against the British. We've been able to kind of dig in a little bit and get some guys up to about the midway point on the road. And I'm going to dig some preemptive foxholes in the back behind these walls. Because at some point, I'll probably get an early officer in there and prone him in one of the foxholes to really kind of take advantage and try to keep the cap weight up. Just with how high the British cap weight is. The more that I can kind of flip it in my favor, especially early, the better. I want to try to get a lead if I can, but if I'm not able to, it will be okay. So we're at the tier 1 mark, and I'm going to bring in the 2 centimeter half track, just because it does come with a couple of vet guys in it. So I'm going to use those vet guys and the half track itself as kind of my advancing force on his point, although the Daimler is going to cause a slight problem because that should outrange me, I believe, and be a lot harder to kind of take out, so that will be slightly unfortunate. We could really do with like a light vehicle of our own with a cannon of some type, but I mean, historically the Germans didn't really have much at this point in the war, so we don't really have much. A lot of autocannons. We're going to keep the half track on that flank, and I'm going to potentially make my move if I can. Although, knowing Meow, he's probably got guys already out on the flank, so he probably sees this well in advance. But we're going to bring this one up behind this building to try to get some crossfire into the middle, and hopefully out of line of sight of the Daimler. But the unfortunate thing is Meow did go with the M8 carriage 75mm gun, so he should be playing as the defensive doctrine, which squad costs are at least a little bit higher in terms of MP. But that's going to be a pretty big problem because we have nothing that's going to be able to take that out. And we also, the AI did not move this half track very well. But I'm moving up slowly over here. He did have some guys out on his flank, although further back. And I did see originally that he did move the Daimler. So I know it's back there supporting. And he has another squad there as well. So yeah, there it is on the mini-map. So this push isn't going to work. Those vet guys on that side are unfortunately probably not long for this world. And here I see the field howitzer. So I'm going to try to go for it, but before I do, the Piat does take me out. We do get the Piat guy. He does take us out though. So we are going to lose the half track. Trying to, before it actually burns the gear inside, I'm trying to take out the MMG. To be able to use it. I grabbed the wrong one, unfortunately, and the repair kits, but I'm going to try to get this guy back into his buildings, but it looks like he dies pretty quick there. But I was okay with losing that half track at that point. And the fact that Meow can't reuse it on me, I'm also kind of okay with. But yeah, now that he's got the field gun, I absolutely need to get this officer into the point ASAP. Because it's just going to shred my infantry in here and kind of turn them to mist. So the officer takes it from a 6 in Meow's favor down to a 4 in ours. So hopefully we can utilize that to our advantage. And while I'm bringing back the 2 centimeter, I am going to bring in a Lelg light howitzer of my own to try to maybe play for time in this. My end goal here is to pull out the King Tiger, the Porsche King Tiger. But I have to play for time. So I can't let Meow secure the middle or my point. I I've got to at least continue to just kind of contest it and keep bringing the score down. But I do see he did bring in a officer of his own. So I got to get this lug up to take him out. And he's in a pretty good spot, being behind the rubble. So he can just prone there. It's going to be really unfortunate. But we're going to call in the second 2 centimeter. Get that one over on the left. The 75 mil hits the Nebelwerfer. And unfortunately kills 2 guys. This map is, in my opinion, very Allied favored, especially in the center. Because on the Axis side, you have between 3 to 4 different, I mean, they're not terrain pieces, but, you know, like flavor on the map, like vehicles and weapons that can actually blow up and cause damage and kills to units. So I do wish they would kind of switch that up a little bit, because that is slightly more so in the Allied favor. I unfortunately see him move the officer over to the other side. We get a lucky shot right at the edge of our range, and he is going to pull out the officer now. So he's going to get him out of the point at the very least, but we are still in their favor. Daimler's on the other side of the map, so I'm going to try to use the 2 centimeters. I did have to pull the vets out early because the Daimler was coming quick. We do manage to kill enough guys to actually flip it, though, which is great. And we are going to bring in a vet recon squad as well. But we've got decent numbers, but they are we are in a pretty rough position, unfortunately, going against the field howitzer as well. And I can see he is moving it there, and fortunately, he takes me out first. I thought it was on the truck. I didn't see it move. And it's really unfortunate. So, lug is down. We absolutely needed that. I'm going to try with the 2 centimeter. He hits a tree, so thankfully he decrews one of his guys. Puts a little damage on some of the others. We put a full unloading into the tree, and I'm distracted now by the Daimler that's rushing up to kind of help. Thankfully, we have AT there, so we're in a decent position to counter it, thankfully. He is unfortunately able to hit the half track. The truck thankfully blocks second shot, and we should be able to get it out at least. So that should get away. Man, we really need to take out that that 75 mil. And losing the lug was not in our favor, but our infantry numbers are okay for now. But the longer this thing is up, then the harder it's going to get. So I'm going to try to get him, and we do thankfully decrew him. So he is decrewed. So now I'm trying to take advantage. I want to get this thing up as far as I can. I'll be wary of the Piat, and I also need to try to take him out before he grabs the gun. I need to be focus firing on the transport. What is that? The FAT, I think is what it's called. But I've got HE loaded, unfortunately, and he gets away. So that's really unfortunate. We really only got like seconds before that thing is probably up and running again. Maybe a little bit longer, but we're kind of at a precarious point as well because we are 2 minutes to tier 2. So I'm going to take a couple seconds here and just start moving up some of these guys because I do want to try to push him if I can at some point. And he did pull in a Bofors DP column, the Morris Bofors, so I don't know what the range is on that thing. That thing might have more range than I do, but he does take out one. We do have cap value, thankfully, in the middle, so we are going to be able to kind of play for time. I'm going to try to move up the Shrek on the right, and we are pulling back the other one in the middle as well. But the defensive doctrine is definitely good. In my opinion, this might be up there. I like the American defensive doctrine. I think that's a very good defensive doctrine as well to play. But I honestly think the British one might be a bit better for defensive units that you get in the DP Collins. Because that 1-2 punch with the howitzer on a flat map like this, I probably wouldn't take the howitzer on a hilly map. I do believe that one has a very bad arc, but that, the Bofors, Morris car, and then what they get in tier 2 is very tricky. And I already know because I played me out on a different map outside of the tournament, and I know what he's doing with his doctrine. I know what his plan is. So I'm pulling up the pack wagon here with pack 40 on it, half-track pack 40, because I am anticipating for tier 2 that he is going to bring in the Sherman 5 tulips and probably spam those for the rest of the game. I don't really think there's much in tier 3 to my knowledge that would benefit him on a map like this, but if he just goes a couple Sherman 5 tulips, which we do see it is coming, we're going to be kind of a predicament here. And he's making his push on our point now as well, so I'm going to try to get the 2 centimeter over here as soon as possible. But we are going to try to go head-to-head with the Sherman. He's firing at our guys in the middle. We do hit him. I'm trying to get him. I'm moving, he's moving, so I don't feel like I have the luxury to really let it zoom in. And he unfortunately gets just a little bit too far away. And I am nervous about the Morris and the howitzer coming up on me. So I'm going to pull back. But at the very least, we did do some damage and killed some crew on it. So that was part of the reason I went this doctrine. In theory, I probably would have also taken all around. I think the all-around doctrine probably would have been a good choice. And even the offensive doctrine. Although I've been playing the offensive doctrine probably a little bit too much lately, so I wanted to do something else. But he hits us with an attaboy as he did find the officer in the point, so we are now down 1 officer, which is terrible. Really, really bad. That howitzer is just sitting there, just lobbing shells at us, and it's pretty far back as well. So trying with the what is technically my 3rd and final 2 centimeter to make a push here, because I'm only able to go 3 if I want to get the King Tiger, and I'm trying to go head to head with the howitzer and the Morris. Trying for the howitzer, which is probably my mistake. Probably shouldn't have tried to go for it, but I got to do something about it, and I really have nothing that can do anything. And if I can't neutralize middle or get another officer in there, it's kind of, we're in a very bad place. As soon as we hit tier 2, well, not even, honestly, we're probably in a bad place to begin with. Once we lost the Lelg, I think that was when things slightly started to go downhill for us here. We really kind of needed some light howitzer to kind of counteract his, because nothing we have was going to really reach it. The Panzer 3N would have probably been a better call-in, because at least that would have been armored and easier to move. At this point, I'm trying to rush the howitzer with this 221, trying to make a move on it, but he's just too well guarded, so it's unfortunate. But I can feel the walls closing in on me at this point. So this is not looking good. After we had a great game 1, game 2 we had quite a few different misplays, and now we're kind of in a really big predicament on game 3. Big hole, unfortunately. With that howitzer, I do not feel confident that I can do much. I can't really push with these half tracks. So I definitely think a different doctrine would have been the right call. And I need to take out this this Morris, but my one hope unfortunately dies from a guy laying down, shooting through the woods and into the building. Really unfortunate. So we'll just continue to throw guys into the middle at this point, but I can't bank MP when I'm doing this to get anything to kind of counter the howitzer. And even pushing on his point, the howitzer is set up in a position where it's going to be, you know, one or the same either way. So we're going to try to do something against the Morris here with the pack wagon. We miss him barely as he's going by. So at this point, I'm trying to bait him with both half tracks. Try to get a sneaky shot there, but we do miss. He's getting very aggressive, and I unfortunately have no infantry either over here. We get a nice shot, kill 2 of the crew, but doesn't do enough, and he lays into us. Pulling up the 2 centimeter. The pack wagon does finish it off, and we look back, and unfortunately it is on fire. So we are going to lose the pack wagon, which was our only counter for 8 minutes. I can get another one, but then I can't go with the King Tiger. Well, I don't know at this point. The King Tiger was really what I needed, and I am surveying around to see, but he's starting to decap us, and we are going to call it. At this point, the writing's on the wall. We don't even really have to go that long. I know this game is over. There's really nothing I can do. I think it's a measure of just, like, wouldn't even be able to wait, like he's saying, for the King Tiger. We have enough for it, but we won't make it that late with how fast he's going to cap now. And I don't even have enough. Like, I can get infantry into my point, but like, I'd have to go with the pack wagon, and in theory I could, because he's just kind of rushing up here, but I don't know. At this point, you can get another one, and I still have no way of countering the light howitzer. So this will be it. Unfortunately, we do fall. I hope you guys enjoyed this tournament. There will be more, and we will be back, so stay tuned.